Hey, Bigfoot Society, it's time for another members-only episode. Special thank you to you guys in the Patreon and YouTube channel members. This time, I talked to Dovie about her lifelong experiences throughout California and Oregon. Some wild stuff happened in this one. I know you're going to love it. And again, just thank you to everyone who is supporting the podcast. We're getting closer to the moon every day. Enjoy this episode. So now, let's get on with the show. The following is a 10-minute teaser clip of my conversation with Dovie. If you'd like to listen to the whole episode, which is about 80 minutes long, you can become a Patreon member over at patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society, or a YouTube channel member by clicking the join button on the YouTube channel. If you've never tried the Patreon, give it a try this month. If you don't like what you experience, you're welcome to just have it at a month, but I think you'll like what you experience in the community there, and enjoy this teaser of Bigfoot Society 422, a conversation with Dovie.
We had a bathroom right next to our bedroom, and there was a window that looked out toward the pasture, and you couldn't see anything out there. And I always had this feeling like I was being watched through that window. I always just had this weird feeling. I can't even tell you how often I felt that way. And sometimes I'd close the window or close the little, drape, but I didn't always have one up there. But because I like to keep it open, but sometimes I'd have to close it. And anyway, this one night I'm home by myself and I'm sound asleep. And I don't know if it was 1 o'clock in the morning or what, but all of a sudden this horrible smell woke me up. It was sewage and sulfur smell. And it woke me up. It was horrible. And I could hear something shuffling on the side of my house. Like, I could tell something was out there. I have no idea why I didn't call the police. I have no idea. I should have. I don't know. It just never dawned on me. And I was thinking about calling my son-in-law or something. And I thought, no, what if they get hurt? I don't know why I thought that, but like, what if they get hurt? And when I woke up and I heard this, the feeling I had was I was terrified. I was literally terrified. I thought my life was in danger. I thought I was going to die. I mean, literally, I felt like I was going to die. It was the worst feeling I'd ever felt. I can't equate it to those experiences because I was still kind of young and it had been so long. But this experience, I was like fear just all over throughout my body. And I kept thinking, part of me wanted to look out first I did go in the bathroom, I had the door open and I'm hearing something shuffling. And I got a little flashlight. I'm kind of trying to, and something told me don't get close. I don't know why. Something was telling me don't get real close. So I'm trying to look out the window. I could not see anything out that window, nothing out that window. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could go out into the living room and kind of look up through the shades, And I opened my bedroom door, went out in the living room, and I'm thinking, no, I don't want to look out because I don't know what I'm going to see. And I don't want to see something looking back at me. That's what went through my head. I don't want to look out. And I don't know why, but that's what my head was telling me. And then I checked the doors, make sure, because when I'm home by myself, I always double lock everything. And so, yeah. And then I kind of turned around. I mean, I felt like I was walking in circles. Like, what do I do? And then part of me is like, well, maybe I could hide in the closet. Maybe I could hide. And then something's like, nope, we can find you. And I don't even know where that came from, but it just felt like whatever it was could find me there. It told me, no, don't do that. I don't know if it was that or my head, I can't say, but it was just weird, really weird. But I'd never, ever smelt that before at my house. And we don't have a sewage line on that side of the house. It's in the front of the house, or, sewer line. And it was just the weirdest thing. And I never thought to go out and look for tracks or anything. But the next day my husband came home and I mentioned it to him. I don't think he took me seriously or something. I'm not really sure, but he kind of like, oh, okay, well, whatever, but I tried to tell him, something was out there. But, and then there was and then the more we thought about that experience and living there, one time, because we had a hot tub in the back of our house on the side next to that pasture, and there was a chain link. Eventually, after we moved there, the farmer put a chain link fence, and then my husband built a deck, and we had a hot tub there in the corner. And this one night, I was out lighting these little tea lights in these little glass containers along this little edge of our deck because we were going to get in the hot tub and there's no real lights out there. So I wanted some little lights. And I kept having this really weird feeling like something's there in the pasture. And you can't see out there, it's dark. And I kept thinking, oh, you're imagining, and I kept lighting the candles. And then, I got out in the tub first. And then finally I went in, I felt really uncomfortable. So I went in and told my husband, I said, you coming out or what? Because I wasn't going to stay out there. And so he finally did. And we weren't out there maybe 15 minutes. And we heard like I don't know, a growl, something. And I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. My husband's like, I am too. We left. And we'd never had that experience before. It was just, he's like, I don't know. And we didn't know what it was. We just said, we're done. I blew out the candles. I left, went in the house, and we were done for the night. And that was just really weird. We both felt very uncomfortable there in the hot tub there next to that pasture. And later, as I'm thinking about it, we had a sensory light up above our garage underneath the eave. And one time I'd went out to go to work and there was glass in my driveway. And I'm thinking, how the heck did that break? Well, first I thought, where'd the glass come from? It never dawned on me it was a motion sensor light. And come to find out, somebody had broke the motion sensor light out above our garage. And then another time we had a big trash can. I don't know, they were pretty tall, like 4 feet tall or whatever. And they got a cover. You take it off, but it hangs. You can't take it completely off. It'll hang, and then you put it back on. You put your trash in there. And we'd have it on the side of the house. Well, a couple of times I found the trash bin way over by the fence next to the pasture, and trash is pulled out of it, but the lid's back on. And I'm picking up trash like, what the heck, there's nothing in it. If it would have been a raccoon or something, they'd have knocked it over, or a dog or anything like that. But it rummaged through my trash, and I never could figure out who was doing it. I only did it a couple of times, but it was just weird. And then before we moved, I'm going to say a year or two before we moved is when sometimes stuff would get knocked off our wall. It would be like something hit the house or threw something at the house. I thought it was just odd because like my clock in my bathroom fell. And I thought, what the heck? And unless we had an earthquake, the only way it could have just come off is if something hit the side of the house. And, or my light in my bedroom would be swaying. And I'm thinking, well, we didn't have an earthquake. It's just weird stuff. And something was either throwing something. It wasn't happening a lot, but it did happen periodically. And then also I had purchased one of those because we didn't have a doorbell. So I purchased one of those where you put a battery in it. I put it at the front door because, I couldn't always hear people knocking. And for the longest time, I'm going to say for about 3 years or so, in the middle of the night, I hear the doorbell. And I'd like, what? And so I'd get up and I'd look out, because I don't answer my door. I look out first and nothing's there. No one's there. And, or I'd look out my bedroom window, but usually I'd go up to the, outside my bedroom and look out the front window and nothing's there. And that didn't happen all the time, but every so often that doorbell would ring. Now, like 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, whatever. We usually went to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And so usually, 12, 1 o'clock, that doorbell. And I'm just like, what the heck? I think finally I just let the battery go out. I thought, no, because it wake me up in the middle of the night. But just weird stuff. And our street light was broke out. Yeah, just some really weird things were happening. And then we moved, and when we were moving, I was telling my second to the oldest daughter, about, feeling like someone was looking through the window. And her husband and my grandkids had lived with us for a while in that house. And when my husband and I went on a vacation, I said, "Hey, why don't you and your husband sleep in our room? So you're, away from the kids and whatever, since we're not going to be here." And she said, "Oh, okay." So they slept in our bedroom. And she said, "Mom," she said, "I would tell," and her husband, his name was Don. She said, I would tell Don to go close that window because I'm not going in there with that window open." She said, "Something's looking at me." And she said, "I always felt like something was looking at me." I said, "Why did you tell me?" And she's like, "I didn't think about it. I thought something was wrong with me or whatever." And she said, "I felt the same thing." And so I thought, well, if she felt it and I felt it, then something probably was. I don't know why the guys didn't feel that way, but me and my daughter felt the same way, like something's looking at us through that window, and I felt that way quite often. And it was so dark out there, and I was constantly trying to get my husband to put a motion sensor out there, which he never did, but he did put one above the garage, but that kind of got broke out. And then when I asked my husband about it, he said, "I don't know why I never," he goes, "I just thought it was the wind." I said, "The wind breaking out a motion sensor light?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know. I don't think about it." And I just said, because after listening to a lot of podcasts about different things and people, different experiences, and watching that Finding Bigfoot, I know a lot of people have, joke about finding Bigfoot, but I'll tell you, that was a big opener for a lot of people. I know it was for me and my husband, that really helped us open up our eyes to a lot of things and experiences that we were having in our life. So, but, thank goodness for the podcasts and stuff, and for your podcast that, I really appreciate people sharing their experiences, because if it hadn't been for that, I would not have realized all the things that we have. And my husband and I, we love hiking, but we usually go hiking. I love waterfalls. We like to find waterfalls, but we usually go where there's usually other people. I know, especially during COVID, man, when there were always a lot of people out there. And one time we were going to go hiking off, I'm going to say, logging road, and it had a closed gate. And we thought, well, we're going to walk up there anyway. And we got up there probably half a mile. And I told my husband, I said, I think I want to just turn around and go back. Because there was nobody else out there, and I started getting a little nervous, to be honest. And I just said, "No, let's just turn around."
Just wanted to take a few minutes to say thank you to you, all my listeners, for listening to the podcast. Please take a minute to help out the show by subscribing on YouTube, making sure you hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications, and share the episode on YouTube with a friend. Also, if you're listening to us on a podcast, thank you so much. Make sure that you're subscribed, share the show with a friend. Really, it's all about sharing the show wherever you can. If you've had a Bigfoot encounter related to the following or know someone who has, please reach out to me at bigfootsociety@gmail.com or pass on my email. Here's the list. All right, I'm going to use this space this week to announce that I'll be at the Sasquatch Summerfest in Oak Ridge, Oregon as an attender. I won't be presenting or anything, but I'll be hanging out, trying to interview people that have had Bigfoot encounters. If you're from the Oak Ridge, Oregon area or surrounding and you've had a Bigfoot experience, please contact me directly, bigfootsociety@gmail.com. Also, Priscilla was nice enough that if you get your tickets through SasquatchSummerfest.com and use code BigfootSociety, you can get 50% off the cost of your tickets, which is a big amount. So code Bigfoot Society to get 50% off your tickets, SasquatchSummerfest.com, and helps out the podcast as well. A special thank you to all the Bigfoot Society Patreon and YouTube channel members. It's your support that helps keep the show going, and I extremely appreciate it. One more thing. Okay, here's the deal. So we're at the point, guys, where there's no stopping us. We are going to full-time podcast no matter what. But I need your help to get there. I figured it out, and we need approximately 700 more people in the Patreon in order to reach our goal of going full-time, actually able to go to places, people that have been having Bigfoot activity, interview them face to face, check it out for myself, all that good stuff. If you guys can, guys, this is the time. If you can at any time become a supporting member of the Bigfoot Society, go to patreon.com/the Bigfoot Society. I would appreciate it. It's going to help us get to the next level, pretty much the final level. You guys are amazing for listening. If you can't become a supporting member, please share this episode everywhere you can. Share it with anyone who's into Bigfoot encounters, and that means a world to me as well. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Her and I can get on here and we can tell our stories. Maybe there's somebody else out there listening that's too afraid to tell their story. Maybe this will give them the courage to come out and not feel so bad about it. Who cares what anybody thinks? I know what I saw. I know what's out there. That's all I care about.
Please let people know. Please let them know. If you ever see one of these things, you need to tell. Because if you don't, then shame on you. You know? Shame on you.